Don't you love when two things that you believe somehow click together and take a whole new level of depth of understanding with the combination of the two? And that is what happened to me yesterday. So those of you who have followed me for any time know that I'm always talking about the elevated thought model that I have, where we talk about the love-based energy, which is unhindered flow, and then at the bottom you have that constricted fear-based energy, and that's the constricted flow. And then in between you have the hindered flow. And again, just recently in my testimony, I was sharing about, when I was stuck in that hindered flow and how that affected me. But as I continued pondering that sense of unhindered flow and constricted flow, I realized that it also aligns with a sense of oneness. And so this is something that I firmly believe, that we are all one with Source. And when you understand that oneness, you can be in that sense of safety and flow, because again, that is how you execute intentional living. That is how you can have an expectation of good. That is how you can have you can assume positive intent. You can do those things because you are one with Source. And so of course, it would be like, would you just randomly stop breathing just to psych out your heart and your lungs? Of course not, because you're one. That's part of you. You would never do that to yourself. So in the same way, when we are an extension of Source and we understand that oneness, when we can move through that veil of forgetting that we're in this earthly dimension, and remember that we are one with Source, then we can bask in that love and that sense of connectedness, not just with Source, but also with each other, because each of us are extensions of Source. And when you're able to see that, you lose that sense of separation, and you have more skin in the game to want to understand people who don't make sense to you, and to try to have compassion and unity and fill in the blank. But it also helped me to understand from the opposite perspective why the more constricted the flow is, the greater the sense of separation, which means from an egoic standpoint, you begin moving to want to protect yourself and moving to take a win at someone else's expense, rather than trying to find something that's a mutual win, right? And so when you're in that separated state, you're very much scrambling to take care of yourself, rather than trusting that the universe is aligning all things for good. Which again, when you understand that, you can embrace that from a place of trust, because you know that the flow is bringing you what you need. So even when hardships come, it's not happening to you, right? In a constricted, fear-based, separated mindset, you're going to see that as a victim. You're a victim, right? But when you're in that love-based energy, you're going to receive that as catalyst for moving forward. And again, I'm going to talk about that in a different teaching with the catalyst, because it's so important to understand that. But the concept of the oneness versus separation, aligning with the elevated thought, was so intense for me. That was such deep revelation. So I hope that's something that blesses you too, because when you find yourself feeling separated, the best thing that you can do is just, sit and meditate and reconnect. Allow yourself to feel that oneness. Or if you're struggling with that, reconnect with someone who speaks life to you, and let that be your connection, and go, oh, that's right, I am connected, and find that place of connectivity, because that is where love lives. Anyway, hopefully that helps somebody today. Have a wonderful day.